Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today we're back for episode 19 of my Road to the Show series here on MLB 14 The Show. And you can take a look at how we are doing about 2 months into the season. We are into the month of June now, getting closer towards the halfway point. The Rays still playing really well. We're 7 games over 500. You'll get a look at the standings a couple of times here in this episode. But we start out with a little training session and end up getting a bronze. So our first game action will be in a series here against the Houston Astros, the third game of the set. Rays 34-27, still 7 games over, but I've been 5 or 6 games back or so of the Boston Red Sox there, and then that is a bad strikeout right there. Trevor Cahill on the mound strikes out Saul with the bases loaded. Later in the game, he's going to ground into a 5-4-3 double play, so a rough game here for Saul Goodman. He ends up going 0 for, I believe, 4, and the Rays pick up a loss. He actually goes 0 for 5. So bad game to start the episode here, but that does seem to sort of be a common theme in some of these episodes. You often get off to rough starts, but Jay Happ on the mound, and that is a pitcher who we know we can hit. We drive this one to left center field, but a nice running catch by Melky Cabrera out there in left, robbing Saul of a hit. No luck from the BABIP gods right there. Now 2-2 count later in the game, bottom of the fourth, down 3-1, and this time we hit it to a very similar spot, but this time we hit it a little bit further and a little bit harder, and that time it gets out into the left center field gap all the way to the wall. Center fielder Colby Rasmus over to play it, but it is a double for Saul Goodman, so his first hit of the episode, first extra base hit, and all that good stuff. And a nice 6-pitch AB, seeing a lot of pitches from Jay Happ today. So now here we go, first pitch of the next AB. We're going to line this one into right, but once again caught, I say, right to the right fielder. So again, no luck from the BABIP gods right there. Just cannot seem to find the ground too often with these hard hit line drives. Now a 2-0 count, hitters count, and we just roll over this one, and that's going to be a grounder out to the shortstop. It's actually going to be a throwing error, but I thought that at bat really exemplified one of our main issues here in this Road to the Show series. I don't walk a lot, and it's not because I don't see pitches very well. It's just because I get very impatient. I swing at a lot of strikes. That's a 2-0 pitch that I should never swing at. That was a very good pitch by Happ. Would have been a called strike, but it's not a pitch you swing at in a hitter's count like that. Here's another one, a 1-0 count, and that's just not a pitch you can swing at when you're ahead in the count like that. I get under it, pop it up behind home plate. Brian McCann throws his mask to the ground and catches the pop out for the third out of the inning. So a bad piece of hitting right there by Saul. Now behind in the count, 1-2, and this time we pull this hanging curveball to right field, and it is over Granderson's head. He tried to dive for it, but could not come up with it. So Goodman's going to round second here, heading for third, going for a triple, and that was a bad decision. We get thrown out of third. Tag slapped on by the left-handed throwing third baseman. I probably wouldn't have done that, except when I was going through my stats earlier in the episode, I ended up noticing that I only had 1 triple this season, so I thought I'd try to make it 2 there, but then we ground out with the bases loaded later in the game. Another time where we got ahead in the count and then just swung at a bad pitch right there. Luckily, the Rays do pull out the victory. 6-5 is the final score, but we only go 1 for 4. And we're starting to struggle a little bit here, so I end up approaching the manager after the game. I go to the little manager interactions here. First things first, I'm going to request a trade. You guys always tell me to do this, but it never works, and the option hadn't even popped up for the first couple months of the season. Nothing's imminent, it appears. Maybe I get dealt at the deadline, who knows. But we're also going to ask for more playing time, and that leads to this.
Both teams getting their final warm-ups in as we welcome you back to the MLB pregame show. First pitch of Game 2 in our series is right around the corner. But before we turn that corner, here is our Topps player spotlight. Saul Goodman is our focus, as he'll be getting a chance to start for the next few contests, though his manager did make it clear this was only a temporary move.
Well, it's not the full-time job yet that I'm sure he wants, but you have to figure that if he shows something during these next couple of games, managers got to take notice, and who knows? Maybe that'll lead to more and more opportunities. Keep in mind, some of the greatest players in history only went on to have the prolific careers that they did because they took advantage of opportunities and earned their way to the top.
All right, the guys and I will be back to get this one started on the show right after this.
So our manager gives us an opportunity to start now, despite going to 2 for our last 17. Really struggling out of the gate in this episode. But a chance to try and win a full-time starting spot, and that is a nice piece of hitting. Going right where that pitch wanted to go. A nice little outside fastball. We take it the other way, and it's going to be a run-scoring single. We reach second on the error. A bad misplay by the left fielder. You see it on the replay right here. But a nice little piece of hitting, a good way to start out this little set of games. I believe we're going to get 3 straight starts. So it's an important stretch for us. Now, bases loaded later in the game. That one lined to center field, but a diving catch from, I don't know who exactly their center fielder is, but a great catch. The run does come home and score on the sacrifice fly, but oh man, that could have been much better. It looks like Carlos Beltran out there in center. That could have been much more if that had gotten by him. Maybe a 3-run triple or something like that. Would have been awesome, but either way, next game you can see we're still only 4.5 games back of the Red Sox. 9 games over 500 now, really starting to hit our stride. Bottom of the 6th inning, I believe that's Sean Kelly on the hill. We hit this one to deep center field. Center fielder racing back, and it is over his head and off the wall. Goodman rounding second, going for another triple here, and this time we're going to get in there safely. The tag was a little bit slow right there by the third baseman. Looks like the throw might have been there in time, but either way, second triple of the year. But we only go 1 for 5 that day. Still nothing too impressive out of Saul. Probably nothing to really sway our manager towards giving us a full-time starting gig here. This time we have a game against the Red Sox here. Buckles on the mound. We lined it over Xander Bogaerts, his head at shortstop there for a single. And now we're going to skip ahead here later in the game. Top of the 4th, base is loaded. Andrew Miller already in the game. And this time we hit it to deep right center field. Both outfielders going back, and it is over the fence and into the bullpen. A grand slam for Saul Goodman. A huge home run right there, the first of the episode. We had not really been hitting for too much power early on in this month of June, but a great piece of hitting right there. That is a hard place to hit a home run. It is pretty deep out in the right field. Fenway known as one of the better pitchers' ballparks if to the right, if you can pitch guys to the right side of the outfield, but anyway, obviously left field's a big advantage for hitters, but right field is really, really deep, and that is a hard place to hit a home run. So now we got relegated back to the bench and back to our old habits. Ahead in the count, 2-0 here. Look at this pitch that we're swinging at. Just a poor piece of hitting right there from Saul. Silly Impatience. You have to take more strikes than that. And we get placed out in center field here. And now, man on third, 2 outs. This ball falling fast. If it drops, it wins the game. But a nice running catch from Saul Goodman, a man who's never played the outfield in his life before. Now, here Jason Frazier still on the hill. 1-2 count. 2 outs, 2 men on second and third here in the 11th. And we actually get hit there on a 1-2 count. Obviously not intentional, but still something sort of funny. So we end up going over 1 that game with a, I guess we reached base 1, so I guess that's good. But anyway, here we go again. This time it's a 2-1 count, and why are you swinging at that pitch, especially if you can't get our eye around to it? It is just silly impatience right there from Saul, biting us in the behind here. So not a good month so far for Saul. The average is dropping. He hasn't hit for power. He sort of flopped on this one opportunity to get some starts, and we're reaching the end of the month here with no real sign of progression from Saul in his ability and his playing time. But we have a final set of games against, I actually think we have 1 game against the Red Sox and then 1 game against the A's. But here's a deep shot to left field, and that ball is going to ring its way off the foul pole, and that will be a 3-run home run off of Jake Peavy, a man who gives up a lot of home runs, so I'm not too surprised we went off of Peavy. And that was to a pretty shallow part. Left field's only 315 out there in the Trop, so not exactly hard to hit it that far, but still, way to keep it fair. Got a little lucky there, and we will take the 3-run bomb. Take a look at the replay. Just bangs off of the foul pole right there. It bounces back into the park, but that would be our only hit that evening. A 1-for-3 performance, including a round tripper, so we'll take it 10 times out of 10. Now, last game of the episode, bottom of the first inning against the A's, and this was a pretty good game out of Saul. He gets things started with a base hit here. Runner coming around to score. He will be safe at the plate, and it's an RBI single to get this game going here for Saul Goodman. Nice, encouraging sign. Haven't driven in a ton of runs this month. So that is good to see. Jared Parker still on the hill here, bottom of the 5th, 4-3 game. And this time we hit it to the right center field gap. That's going to get down, and that will be gloved by the center fielder Goodman. Rounding first, heading for 2. Not the fleetest of foot, but he gets in there with a double. So the second into the ball game for Saul Goodman. And now, bottom of the 7th inning, new pitcher in. It's going to be a ground ball past the glove of the first baseman. That's Brandon Moss over there playing first. Little seeing eye single, Saul's 3rd hit of the game. And now we're going to have 1 more at-bat here coming up in, I believe, the 9th inning maybe? Yeah, bottom of the 9th, tie game. I believe this is Dan Otero in. And take a look at this. It's going to be a high bouncer, and it goes off of the first base bag. Now, that is some serious luck right there. We'll take a look at the replay. I guess when everything's going right, everything indeed is going right as it was today. Couple, seeing eye single, that always takes some luck. And then that just hitting off the bag. And really was, I hope, a good sign of things to come. So we end off the episode right. We get 2 RBI in the day, 4 hits, 4-for-6 performance. Like I said, we'll take that out of Saul 10 times out of 10. So anyway, that's going to do it for episode 19. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'll try to bring out episode 20 real soon. And that's going to do it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. It doesn't matter. Peace.